Mr. Speaker, I don't know if it's proper to ask you a question, but is this February 2nd? We're reminded of the movie Groundhog Day. We continue to repeat what happened yesterday and the year before. This is a repetition of a bill that came to the floor 2 years ago. It was a bill that had a lot of different pieces to it, but was very, very simple in what it accomplished, or attempted to accomplish, and that was to take water from someone, the environment, fish, and the Delta, farmers, communities, Contra Costa County, the East Bay of San Francisco, and deliver it to someone else. And that would be the San Luis unit of the Central Valley Project. It was 2 years ago. Must be February 2nd. Must be Groundhog Day, because we're doing it all over again. Whatever little whistles and bells and bows you want to put on it, this is essentially a theft of water from someone to give to somebody else. Plain and simple. That's what it's about. In this case, the water is going to be stolen, and I use that word because that's accurate, from the Delta, from the environment, San Francisco Bay, from the salmon, which is a huge industry in California, all the way up the coast to Oregon, to be given to the largest single water district in the nation. A district that, by its contract with the federal government, is specifically set to take shortages in their water when there is a drought. This bill becomes law, that won't be the case. They'll get the water and someone else won't. Okay, we've seen this show before. We also saw before that this type of legislation, as does this bill, overturns the California Constitution, pushes it out of the way, and all this done by folks who normally call themselves state writers. Okay, well, this is the biggest grab of power by the federal government on water anywhere in the history of the reclamation law dating back to 1904. Never before has the federal government made such an attempt to grab the water rightfully belonging to a state and saying, you, in this case California, are going to use that water as seen fit by the federal government. Current water law and practices for a century and more have been the opposite. This doesn't solve the problem. We got a real problem. These have been seen before, and they're going to have to be seen over and over, because that was a year ago. Yeah, we turned it upside right, whatever, it's a lot of snow, right? That was a year ago. Snow in the Sierras. That's this year. No snow. And by the way, Central Valley looks pretty much like a desert. Not just the San Joaquin Valley, but the whole valley. We got a problem. We got a very real problem. And we really need a real solution. This bill isn't a solution. This bill is a call to arms. This bill is the clarion call of yet one more battle in the great California water war. And we're all veterans of that war. My colleagues over here on the Republican aisle, my colleagues over here on the Democratic aisle, we're veterans of the water war. Unfortunately, this bill doesn't solve the problem of California. There are solutions available, and we really need to get to them. We really need to sit down and work with a bill that passed the House and the Senate and signed by the President less than 2 weeks ago, the omnibus bill. In that omnibus bill, there is a restoration, a reauthorization of the federal drought emergency program that has some 16, 17 different provisions that provide for specific things that we should be funding. There's no money in this bill for funding. We're going to have to fund this. This is a West-wide problem. a problem that reaches across many, many states, and it's going to take all of us working together to help each individual state, each community, and every water district deal with a very real problem. But oh no, it's a battle. It's a call to arms. Get to your barricades. Pull out the old weapons. We really need a solid solution here, and unfortunately this bill simply doesn't do it. No time presently have available.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlelady from California reserves. The gentleman from Washington is recognized.